Hi, my name is Shohei Galan, and this is my video presentation on the assignment for critical and creative thinking, talking about the topic of validity and soundness. So let's start off. I have some cards here. What is a valid argument? A valid argument is basically good logic. If the premises are true, then the conclusion cannot be false. In the end, the reasoning is logically correct. As an example, I drew a little diagram. Premises 1 says, if I study all night, I will be tired in the morning. Premises 2 says, I studied all night. So, the conclusion will then say, therefore, I will be tired in the morning. So, in my diagram, I show me studying. In the second premises, I will show me studying all night. And in the third premises, it shows me in the morning, tired from studying all night. The argument is valid because the conclusion logically follows the premises. Whether I studied all night does not matter for validity. The reasoning is solid. So here is what a valid argument will look like. Moving on to our next topic, what is an invalid argument? An invalid argument is when the reasoning does not fully connect the premises to the conclusion. Even if the premises seems true, the conclusion could still turn out false. So an invalid argument could look like it makes sense on the surface, but when you break it down, the conclusion does not follow the premises. So for this one, I also drew a little diagram for an invalid argument. So here it is. The first premises right over here says all students who study hard will pass the exam. So this is just a random student studying for their exam, and that's going to equal them to pass the exam. Premises 2 says I passed the exam. This is me, happy because I passed the exam. And in conclusion, therefore, I studied hard. And then here is our conclusion. This is me studying hard, but there's a question mark next to it. This argument is invalid because passing the exam does not guarantee that I studied hard. Maybe I guessed very well and got lucky, or maybe the exam was just easy. Who knows? But this does not support a valid argument. This is quite invalid. Moving on to our third topic, what is a sound argument? A sound argument is the strongest kind of argument because it is both valid and built on true premises. That means that the reasoning is solid and the starting points are actually true. So the conclusion has no way of being wrong. So here we also drew a diagram. This one's a little bit different, a little bit sketchy. So the first premises for a sound argument says all students in North America are part of the United States. All students. I'm still stuck on the last one. I'm so sorry. All states in North America are part of the United States. So here in premises 1, we show what the United States looks like. Premises 2 says Florida is a state in North America. So here we have premises 2 showing Florida. And the conclusion says, therefore, Florida is part of the United States. So here we have a little target on Florida so that we can see it. I didn't really sketch out North America that great, but here we show that it is part of the United States of America, which is in North America. This is a sound argument because the logic is valid and the premises are actually true. So this is what a sound argument looks like. Again, I know the sketches are not the best, but we will move on to our next and final topic. What is a unsound argument? An unsound argument is when something goes wrong. It could be either the reasoning is not valid or at least one of the premises isn't true. That means that the conclusion cannot be trusted because the argument is missing either logic, solid logic, true starting points, or both. So, for our final diagram, this is what it looks like. It is a picture of my dog. So the first premises right here says all dogs can speak fluent Spanish. Now I'm Latina, so I speak fluent Spanish. So I would love to believe that my dog can speak fluent Spanish. But in premises 2, we say Luca, my dog, is a dog. And in conclusion, therefore, Luca can speak Spanish. So here's our conclusion. Here is me saying Buenos dias, Luca. And he responds, Buenos dias, Johailey, te amo. Because he loves me. And then the ending says the argument, my conclusion, my analysis says the argument is is valid in structure, but is unsound because of the first premises. Dogs cannot actually speak Spanish, although we would love to think that dogs can speak to us in other languages. That is just not true and is completely false. So there is my presentation on validity and soundness, and I hope you enjoyed.